Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, it's the unofficial start of NBA trade season. Can we expect some big moves soon? And what's the latest on Giannis? Plus, did the Spurs over the weekend prove that they should be taken seriously as contenders? And why is one person calling for a fire sale in Golden State?
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. I'm Wes Goldberg, and today we're talking about the unofficial start of NBA trade season, Wemby returning to the Spurs, and winners and losers from the weekend, and we're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always. From the Locked On Nuggets podcast, he's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
It's December 15th around these parts in Colorado. We call that Yokmas. It is the day that Nikola Jokic was moved into the starting lineup all the way back in 2018, I believe. 17, over use of Nurkic, and the Nuggets never looked back. So happy Yokmas to all who celebrate.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, he's also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report. It's Haize.
I'm glad that Matt's celebrating that because it's Kansas City Chiefs. Man.
What's football? I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. Never liked it personally.
In addition to Yokmas, it is also the unofficial start of trade season. December 15th marks the day where most contracts around the league that were signed over the summer become eligible to get traded. Some of those contracts are in January 15th, but for the most part, 90% of the league is now eligible to get traded, which obviously makes making those trades a lot easier. We've got a list of names that we want to get to in terms of guys who could get traded relatively soon, but the player everybody is talking about right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who watched his team lose to the Nets by 45 points on Sunday. Here's more from Locked On Bucks.
Kyle Kuzma said after Boston, we got to do it again. This all does not mean anything if we come out soft in this next game. If we come out not playing hard, then we're 2 steps back. Gotta be aggressive on both ends. What did they do tonight, y'all? They came out soft in the next game. They came out not playing. They took 2 steps back. We have hit a new low in this season for the Milwaukee Bucks.
So there's Camille saying that this is a new low for the season for the Milwaukee Bucks. I do, though, have one idea of how it could get worse. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah. I think probably losing the best player in franchise history is tough with Kareem, but I think I'll probably give it to Giannis, given what he's done with the franchise versus what Kareem did. I mean, look, it's not a good situation. It's not. My view on it is that they shouldn't be this bad, and if you have a team that is under these conditions and is playing like this, that's indicative of everybody knows the deal. Like, everybody on that roster is like, yeah, I mean, season's over. Giannis is going to be gone and we're screwed. Once you hit that point, like, you can't come back from it. Like, once you hit that point, there's no coming back from it. So I'm concerned a little bit here of what this could mean for the Bucks in the short and the long term.
Yeah, as you should be, and as Bucks fans should be, because the scary part about this is that it can get lower. If Giannis has made it clear that he wants out, whether that's internally, whatever that is, it can get a lot worse for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks season started off like maybe it was going to look good, and they've fallen back down. And this all comes back to we knew coming into the season that the Bucks had to prove something to Giannis. Otherwise, Giannis may be on his way out, and it just feels like it's more and more likely. We've heard the term now from Wendy, from Mark Stein, from Jake Fisher, like it's only a matter of time. Whether it happens this year at the trade deadline or happens in the offseason, it just seems like it's only a matter of time. And so dark days ahead, because it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Giannis is obviously the guy that is in the middle of the trade rumors because of how things are going in Milwaukee right now. You did have Mark Stein reporting over the weekend that teams like the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Rockets not interested in trading for Giannis right now. Makes sense, I guess, considering where they are in terms of their timeline, the players that they have, and the fact that they're all title contenders now or in the future without Giannis. But in terms of teams that should be looking at Giannis, Haize, the Knicks are the team that come up all the time, but is there anybody else that you're looking at here?
Your Miami Heat. That's
Now we're
it.
talking.
That to me, those are the two options. It's the Knicks or the Miami Heat. Now, of course, it seems like Giannis's preference is to go to Miami, but I think I'm sorry to go to New York, but I think Miami is gonna, if they have a chance to get Giannis, they're gonna put everything on the table to try to get Giannis, and I think it makes sense for them.
Detroit. So the reason I bring up Detroit, and it's like that's not the market, right? He wants New York. There's reports that he'd be open to Miami. Golden State's been mentioned in the past. Like these are big markets, and I get that. Him being open to being traded to the Bulls, that report came out recently, and the Bulls apparently were like, no, we're not there yet, which is probably for the best. That's interesting to me. Like that's a little interesting to me because if he wants to stay in the area, then Detroit's not a bad option. It gets you Cade, it gets you Duran, it gets you like a loaded team. I think that team would be awesome. It gets you, I think, a great coach in JB Bickerstaff, who's really showing what he can do this season. I think Detroit should honestly be trying to tell Giannis, like, hey, you know, you're leaving Milwaukee, so your legacy's already going to, like, you're starting over. Go somewhere where you know we're good now. Like, you know we're good enough now. You don't know if the Warriors are going to be good enough. You don't know if the Heat are going to be good enough. And the Knicks are the Knicks. Come to Detroit, because the other thing to keep in mind there is, like, I'm very interested to see what Detroit does today and tomorrow. Stein had a really important report, which is that there were a thing to remember. It's not even a report, it's just like something to remember, is that the Warriors made deals right after this day last year to make sure that they had the assets to later then move for Jimmy Butler. So you set up the moves now, and Detroit's got Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson now eligible. That's $30 million in trade value on top of Tobias Harris. So Detroit is definitely the team that I'm looking at, both for the Giannis deal and just long-term, short-term over the next couple of days.
So we're starting to hit that theme, the next theme I wanted to talk to here, Matt, which is other teams, other players to potentially watch here, because it's not just Giannis, to your point, right? It's the unofficial start of trade season. There's a lot of teams making other kinds of moves. Haize, when you look at other names potentially to watch over the next couple of weeks, I heard you guys on Locked On Bulls talking about Nikola Vucevic as maybe somebody that the Bulls might want to move on from.
Oh, listen, if somebody came and offered a fried bologna sandwich for Nikola Vucevic, the Bulls would probably bite on it. Like, it's just, does it have cheese? Then absolutely, we'd ship them to you right now. So Vooch is definitely a player that I do think will be on the trade block for the Bulls. He was last year at the trade deadline, where he had a much better season and nobody bid on it, but he's expiring now, so maybe. I think Vooch, Jonathan Kuminga, Trae Young, those are the other names to watch, I think, leading to the deadline.
So those are like the big names, right? But we've got a couple of guys to keep an eye on in the short term. Gershon Yabusele basically just like has not been utilized by the Knicks at all,
which is weird.
After being like hey, like look at the Knicks getting Yabu, and then like he just doesn't play. Well, he's eligible to be dealt now, so I would keep an eye on that. The Pelicans have Kevon Looney now available, and since their season is over and we know that, probably not a bad idea to start shopping him to teams that are looking for a veteran center to help out. Julius Randle becomes trade eligible today for the Minnesota Timberwolves. With how inconsistent they've been, I am very curious to see what Tim Conley and that crew does. And then with the Lakers, DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart. Those are all guys have all been good, and the Lakers have won some games, but they started to tail off, and we know the Lakers are always star shopping, so I'll be keeping an eye on that one as well.
Tim Connolly, like you said, with the Timberwolves, always known to be aggressive. It feels like they're a piece away. One other name to watch that I'll bring up here, Chris Paul, who is still technically a part of the LA Clippers here, and they are trying to find reportedly trying to find a new landing spot for him. It seems like that's something that should be done at least sooner rather than later, maybe even as soon as this week. But coming up, Victor Wembanyama made his return to the San Antonio Spurs over the weekend, made a huge impact right away that could have us rethinking our tier of contenders in the West. We'll talk about that next here on Locked On NBA Daily. Today's episode is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays always show up faster than we expect, and if you're still putting together gifts, last-minute decor, or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresh, new bedding, or those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen essential, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Their selection is huge: bedding, decor, kitchen gear, kids' room updates. I was able to find everything in one place. Wayfair is perfect for gifting too. They have guides, tons of options, and something for everyone on any budget. No massive delivery fees, no stress, and it's the best way to get your home holiday ready without running around to different stores. Get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all of your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's Wayfair, Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you could place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scorers, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. Looking at the NBA schedule for tonight, the Denver Nuggets, 1.5-point favorites over the Houston Rockets tonight. Matt, can I throw it to you really quick? What do you think about this game and this spread?
I like Houston quite a bit here. Revenge spot for them. Denver's lost 4 straight at home. They do get up for the big games. This is only their 4th game versus a team over 500 at home this season, so keep that in mind. But they've been not great at home. The Rockets motivated. They got that win in the Cup game a couple weeks ago when AG went out, but Denver's defense has been worse and worse and worse without AG and Christian Brown, and with the Rockets having such a surprisingly good offense. And Houston's big problem is they turn the ball over a lot. Denver's dead last in opponent turnover rate, so I like Houston a lot to win this game tonight.
Haize, are you still backing your Rockets here?
Always. Come on. Have I wavered from them one bit? Like when Van Vliet went down, I didn't waver. I'm not going to change it now. Like I'm always going to support Houston. I believe the world in Houston. I think they'll be perfectly fine.
So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season with FanDuel, go to FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets and NBA bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast. So can you. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube. We air Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. Victor Wembanyama made his return from injury over the weekend and picked up right where he left off, guys. Looked at like one of the most dominant players in the league as he helped the Spurs knock off the Thunder out of the NBA Cup semifinals. The Spurs move on to the NBA Cup final. Here's more from Locked On Spurs.
What stood out for me the most is that they took a punch in the face hard in that first period. Man, I thought that was, oh, here we go. Thunder being the Thunder, Spurs obviously at another level, and let the slaughter begin. And then, my goodness, they punched back. No, they held the Thunder in the second period to under 20 points. The Thunder. So that stood out to me, just how much that team resilience, and they took that punch in the face and they punched right back. Matt, your thoughts?
Absolutely. And I think there were a lot of things on display in that game. You know, I think we saw obviously what the Spurs look like when they have everybody healthy. And, you know, I put a little asterisk there. Obviously, Victor was back, but was he really back, especially for that first half, was, you know, the minutes restriction and everything. But, I mean, we got a good look at what this team looks like when everybody is there. And
So, Haize, we've been talking for a couple weeks now. The Spurs team is playing well without Victor Wembanyama. What are they going to look like with Victor Wembanyama? And then we saw what they looked like. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wemby looked great. Does this have you reconsidering where you consider the Spurs in terms of the tiers of contenders in the Western Conference?
I mean, yeah, if Wemby's going to be healthy, I think we all kind of understood how good they could be if Wemby's going to be healthy. I think Wemby's now, you know, Matt pointed it out in the last episode, like Wemby's hit that new level. Like his confidence level in himself and when his team's out there is great. And that's scary for the NBA that Wemby's there. So I'm not ready to say that I see them as like a finalist yet, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to see them make a push for at least the Western Conference Finals this year if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, I think they're a serious contender. A couple things to kind of add in here is I've got them projected for a 3 seed right now, which would put them in line. If you're a top 3 seed, you can win the NBA title. The other thing, De'Aaron Fox is kind of changing the way I'm thinking about them a little bit. And the reason is, like, I've always liked Fox. He's a great player, so fast. Specifically, though, in the Western Conference, OKC, like they were down 16 with about 2:52 to go in that first half. And Fox, they space out 5 out with Wemby on the perimeter. So there's no Hartenstein on the interior. And Fox goes 1-on-3 and schools 3 different Thunder defenders to get the bucket. He drives down the next time, he gets a foul. Then Wembanyama hits a 3. Fox's ability to fearlessly attack that OKC defense. OKC, I think, is really well built to defend jump shooters. Like, I think they're actually really well built to defend the Steph Curry type of guys. So the fact that Fox isn't that he is more of a moves, craftiness, and speed, actually, I think makes him a real weapon against OKC. Then you look at Denver. Denver's got a real problem defending fast guards. Well, there's none faster than De'Aaron Fox. So that's a matchup advantage. Houston might be tougher, honestly. Like, if they wind up in a 2-3 versus Houston, that's going to be actually a little bit tough. I wonder if they'll have more trouble with the Houston Rockets based off of how their matchup goes. But when we look at the overall quality of them, how Devin Vassell's playing, how Keldon Johnson's playing, how Stephon Castle's playing, how Fox is playing, and add on Wemby, yeah, I think this team is legitimately a title contender right now.
So I like the formula that we're laying out here, because you've got De'Aaron Fox, you've got Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson's been great for they've got guys who could score. They got guys who could score one-on-one, which we know works in the playoffs. And then you've got Victor Wembanyama, who just, in that Thunder game, what really stood out to me was when he came into the game, the entire game flipped, and he just vaporized all of the Thunder's paint touches. Like, they couldn't even get into the paint. And that's what Victor Wembanyama is going to do. We know what their defensive rating and stuff like that is when he's on the court. So now you pair this great one-on-one offense that they've got, or guys that they have on offense, plus all of the defensive stuff that Wemby does, Haize, that feels like just a formula for success, historically and especially right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is a base for success. I think that, I came into this a little bit more confident, I think, than others on the supporting cast around Wemby. Those guys have all hit really good steps ups, and I just think the team's in a really good place as far as depth, as far as performance, a nice mix of youth. This is a dangerous Spurs team, very, very dangerous Spurs team.
Matt, does it make sense that they're not in on Giannis, at least according to the latest reporting? Like, what when kind of going with the overall theme of today's episode about NBA trade season, is there something that they should be doing?
It's tough. I mean, I think I understand being like, look at how good we are. Why would we disrupt this? Like, we want to be patient. I just don't know that anything that you're going to give up for Giannis is going to really compromise you. Like, if you have to give up Devin Vassell, are you going to miss Devin Vassell more than you're going to be like, man, we have Giannis? Are you going to miss Stephon Castle more than you're going to be like, man, we have Giannis, right? I don't feel like with the asset that they have, as many picks as they have on top of the talent, I don't feel like there's like a huge cost here for them. So it's all opportunity. And I think that being afraid to disrupt things is maybe the wrong way to go about it, because I still think, look, you've shown that you can beat OKC, and you can say, we've shown we can beat OKC. All right, on neutral court, when a lot of things went your way, shorten that gap even more. I kind of think they should be aggressive, but only for a player of Giannis's caliber. I don't think they should do anything else outside of moving for a Giannis level star.
I can agree with that. I mean, that's the all-in move, right? That's trying to cash in your chips now. So if you make that type of move for like a Giannis level player, that makes perfect sense. But like you said, anything less than that, just keep your youth, keep your depth.
Speaking of cashing in now, does Steph Curry need more help with the Golden State Warriors? Winners and losers from the weekend is next. Today's episode is brought to you by Rougiette. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body needs a little extra support, and that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougiette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougiette.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette.com/LockedOnNBA. Don't forget to use our promo code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rougiette. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. The Locked On Podcast Network is a show for every team. Check out Locked On Bucks and Locked On Spurs for more on today's top stories. It's Monday, so let's end the show with our weekend winners and losers. I want to kick us off with a loser, the Golden State Warriors, who lost to the Blazers on Sunday despite getting nearly 50 points from Steph Curry. Here's Charlie Walter from Locked On Warriors with more.
I mean, we're looking at a sub 500 team, 13 and 14, and a team that just lost by 5 to the Blazers, who I think are pesky. I think they're better than their record, gives them credit for, but they're the Blazers. Come on now. And you can't pick up the win when Steph Curry goes for 48 points in the game, 16 of 26, 12 of 19. Get out the help wanted signs. It's time for a fire sale or this team is going nowhere. We have seen enough.
Matt, have we seen enough of the Warriors? Do they need to make changes now?
Trade Steph Curry to the Knicks.
Let's go.
Trade Steph Curry to the Knicks right now. Jalen Brunson and Steph Curry. I mean, look, I think so. I didn't think this team was good coming in. I didn't think they were good last year. I didn't think they were good coming in. They can pull it together and figure it out. Draymond was like, we're only 27 games in. It's fine. Nobody's panicking. But one of the things I was thinking about, Haize, is when's the last time that you had a team that started off like this and then won the title? You can look at the Boston Celtics back in the first, like when they really turned that corner, I think under Udoka, where it was like they got to January and you had Jaylen Brown, the energy's about to shift. And then they went on that huge run that kind of set up that 3-year run that they went on. But they didn't win the title that year. They made the finals, but they didn't win the title that year. And so, like, for the Warriors, I'm like, what team has started off like this and won the title? And I can't find an example in history. And if you're not going to win the title, what's the point? This team is unimpressive to me on all levels. I am been out on the Warriors. I continue to be out on the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors need something. Steph doesn't have enough help. I mean, shout out to them for getting Jimmy Butler last year. Quentin Post is having a great season, but this team it's just not good. Now, maybe they can wake up. We've seen the Warriors do it before. We know Jimmy can go into a different zone, but it doesn't feel like a team that's going to have it. I do think they're going to need to make a trade if they're going to really want to make a finals this year, but I don't even know if that saves us, to be 100% honest with you. The Warriors are who they are at this point.
Wes, I want to feed you the rock here for a layup. A lot of consternation starting to have with Golden State fans about Jimmy Butler. A lot of hey, where's the production? Where is this guy? Like, yeah, he's good some nights, but like, where is it? As if they haven't paid attention to Jimmy Butler at any point over the last 4 seasons.
It's not like they haven't.
Those 4:30 afternoon games are just too tough for them to catch, I guess, from the East Coast. But that's a credit to Jimmy Butler's branding, man. The guy showed up for a few playoff series over the course of his career and 0 regular seasons, and yet everybody thinks he's this Michael Jordan playoff guy all the time. He's never done it like that in the regular season.
It really genuinely, like, so much changes if he just plays like to an average level versus the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Giannis is still in Milwaukee because they've got like 1 to 2 more titles. And we don't talk about Jimmy Butler as if he's some sort of mythical figure, because he is a mythical figure. He doesn't exist.
That version of Jimmy Butler does not exist and has not existed for these Warriors outside of that little honeymoon phase that they had after the trade deadline last year. And to think that Jimmy was going to come in and fix all their issues, you're starting to see the things that he fixed last year, not really fixing it this year in terms of generating points in the paint at that degree. Defensively, they're not what they were down the stretch last year. I will push back on one thing that you said, though, Matt, that if you're not winning the title, then what's the point right now? I just don't know that there's a move out there that makes the Warriors that. And for Steph at this point in his career, I just think it's about getting him into the playoffs. It's about moments, not accomplishments for Steph at this point, and that's really what it's all about. I think
Do you think Steph's there for moments, or do you think he's there for championships? Because he just dropped 48 last night.
I think he's there for the idea of competing generally. And that's where I will agree with you is at 13 and 14, they're not even doing that, right? Can they find some sort of level where they're respectably competitive, could win a playoff round, maybe 2 if everything breaks right, but we don't actually think that they could win the whole thing.
Who talks themselves into Draymond Green? That's the next question, is who talks themselves into Draymond Green being like, okay, sure, he's on the downside of his career. Sure, he can't hit a layup, but sure, he's really difficult to get along with, to the point where only probably Steph could have gotten along with him as the number 1. But maybe it might just work for us. Who does that? Like, who's the team that believes in Draymond Green, and why is it the Los Angeles Lakers?
He's got any ideas?
If a team talks themselves into Draymond Green, I hope that they're ready for pink slips to come the following offseason, because I don't think anybody should be doing that.
Draymond for LeBron, straight up.
Who says no? Other winners and losers, Haize?
My Bulls continue to be losers because they are just a losing franchise and they suck.
I keep
on that one.
I keep trying to find like winners over the weekend, and then instead I keep finding like lots of losers. Cavaliers beat the Wizards by 4 and lose to the Hornets. They are still top 10 in offense and defense, and I was like, well, okay, maybe it's the schedule. That's because I checked these schedule adjustments. Nope, raw. Like, they're still a top 10 offense and defense. Stats lie sometimes, I guess. Winner? How about this? The Brooklyn Nets are 4 and 6 in their last 10. Like, the Nets are playing some pretty good ball. They got to Jordy-proof that roster a little bit more by trading off all the good guys. But okay.
That would be an interesting team to poach, though. Has Michael Porter Jr. done enough in a few weeks to make himself an actual
Maybe.
asset?
I think he might have, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
I think he has.
I had this one last night on Locked On Nuggets. I wanted to ask you about it. If you traded Denny Avdia for Michael Porter Jr. right now, which of the teams is better, or is it both? Because I think they're both better. I think you put Avdia on the Nets, he looks awesome. And I think you give the Blazers a lower usage, higher efficiency weapon like MPJ. Avdia's usage rate is through the roof. It's crazy how much he has the ball. Like, they are force feeding the idea of Denny Avdia right now. I think if you traded Denny Avdia to the Nets would be better. And I think if you traded Michael Porter Jr. to the Blazers would be better. Avdia's a better player. I'm not denying Avdia's a better player. I'm just saying, role-wise.
I mean, I can see what you're getting at with that there, but I mean, they'd be crazy to remove Denny Avdia from that team.
Feels like if you're the Nets, you're just adding a player that you tried to draft like 3 different times in this last first round. And then if you're the Blazers, you're like, more guys who can't dribble and can only shoot.
Sure.
Perfect.
Sure.
Maybe. I have one last loser. Whoever was watching the end of that Lakers-Suns game on Sunday night.
Oh, man.
Where there were 4 reviews/challenges in the final 30 seconds of clock time. And it took, I mean, we all know that the end of these NBA games take way too long. That was atrocious. That took about 25 minutes of real time to just get through the last 30 seconds of that game.
Haize, with Dylan Brooks, all right, is he still on? Like, I was telling my wife, because she was like, Dylan Brooks is on the Suns, and I was like, yes. And I was telling her, I was like, he's actually rehabbed his image. Like, he's now like considered a winner and like a culture guy.
Yeah.
And then you have like last night where everyone goes like, aha, that's the Dylan Brooks. By the way, he made LeBron more mad than I have seen anyone ever make him mad.
Since
I have never seen anyone piss off LeBron the way he did last night on that sequence. I have never seen LeBron that mad. But are we still on the positive side of the Dylan Brooks good bad equation, Haize?
I am. I think Dylan Brooks is, like you said, he's turned himself into a really good role player. I think that he's fixed his image quite a bit. I would want Dylan Brooks on my team right now.
I've always liked Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.